Anxiety. I've been reading a lot about anxiety, and especially anxiety within teens. And a lot of what I've been reading has been specifically based on the Western world. But I think anxiety is a real thing, and but also I think it's something that can be easily avoided, because when I'm reading things and it says anxiety can be caused of all kinds of factors. One of them factors that it says is that it can be caused by the use of social media, amongst other things, but the use of social media for one, especially, within the age bracket that we're talking about. And when you look at the way that this age group, I'm talking about teens, when we look at the way they use social media, and it talks about, they're constantly on their mobile devices, that they don't get a sense of the real world, and that when they're put into the real world, it becomes anxious, they become anxious. I'm like, well, duh, obviously, I mean, what... Right, I ain't trying to put down anyone that's writing about this, but when you state the obvious a bit, like, duh, but I think it needs to be spoken about, because at the end of the day, right, people need to be put in real world situations in order to thrive and succeed, that when they become adults and when they're in those situations making these real world decisions, they're not going to become anxious, and they're going to act like a real human being. Obviously, if I spend... How old you're 13 to 18, what is that, 5 years? If I spend 5 years of my life, and I'm just, going off teens, really, it's up until 25, whatever. But when if you're looking at 5 years of your life and you're spending it all on a mobile device, communicating with people through mobile devices, not actually seeing true emotion and not being in those real world situations, you're not going to know how to deal with it when you do need to be in a real world situation. Do you know what I mean? We talk about graduates going into work, right? They finish uni, they go into work, and they struggle. Why do they struggle? Because it's the first time they've been put into a real world situation, so they become anxious. Do you know what I mean? And the stuff that I've been reading about, let me just reiterate that it's not just about social media, okay? There are a lot of areas where people do become anxious, and I'm not trying to dismiss it, but it's an idiot thing. It is an absolute idiot thing, right? Think about it, yeah? Put down your phone and go and experience I'm sorry about my cough, and go and experience the world as it is, right? And you won't have to deal with being nervous in these situations, okay? Right. If I'm at school, if I'm a teacher at school, you know what? I'm not trying to teach these kids, right, about the Pythagoras theorem. Do you understand me? Right? I'm trying to teach these kids, about bills and about mortgage. You get me? Like, if I'm a teacher at school, right, in my classes, you cannot have your phone on you. It's as simple as that. So I'm like, the education system is flawed and it's messed up too, because that's what's causing a lot of this anxiety, right? You're in an environment surrounded by other people your age that are doing the same thing that you're doing, where it's supposed to be an area of learning. Now, obviously, that's a controlled environment. So control the blood clot environment, you get me? Like, when you're out on road, you can't, these kids can do what they want. They're on road. They're gonna be on their phone. But if you put them in an environment where they're forced to live in a real world situation, that when they become adults, they're not gonna have to deal with all these issues and not knowing how to deal with things properly.